mute, right?
Combustion.
Whoa, 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 whoa. They're running the game with my team making plays. Talking 80, my G's, 100 jewels in this place. Surrounded by dogs, keep the quarterback safe. I'm the one with the plans, they gon' do what I say. The game is not over, we don't celebrate. In the end zone, we don't got no time in the wait. H-time run down, we don't premeditate. We just go and get to it, we got them on skates. If the game going to overtime, kicking the overdrive, we gon' be first at the finish line. Play looking full, but I finish mine. Can I get seconds? We gon' line up like it's dinner time. We put in work till we get us a ring. Super Bowl season, we running the scene. H-time the home of the realest that breathe. Keep your face down when you talk to the king. What up, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of the H-Time Rundown. This is your boy, AD, and I got my co-host in the building. We got Mike G. We got Mr. Aquarius, a.k.a. Jules, in the building. We got Auntie Swan in the building. How's everybody doing on this great Friday night?
We swarming.
Wonderful.
We swarming, right?
Doing well.
So, just some news and notes. The Houston Texans were in attendance, have been in attendance at the Scouting Combine, and Scouting Combine continued today. If I'm not mistaken, the DBs took part of the Combine today, and there was a lot of talk and a lot of conversation. A lot of people showed out, and a lot of prospects, for us to look at in the future, and we will talk about that. But did anything stand out to anybody today with the defensive backs at the NFL Combine?
They fast as hell. Some of them faster than wide receivers.
Right.
Harrison.
Who's the fastest?
Harrison, I thought.
You talking about from Kentucky?
Maxwell Harrison, 4.28.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean somebody from that school in Austin said they're gonna run a 4.20.
I'm waiting.
Which one? Because he said 4.1 at 1.2.
No, he said he's gonna break the record.
Yeah, he said 4.1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
4.41.
He said between 4.1 and 4.20 because it was 4.21 last year. So
he was a real superstar at both Bama and Texas. Oh wait.
But the safety from South Carolina run a 4.38, which is nice.
It is nice. Yeah.
Yeah, Nick.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Just say the African.
When people are like, hey, let's just say his first name, Nick.
Yeah, I said Nick. I done tore up a
Mm-hmm.
whole bunch of guys' names these last couple of days.
Yeah, so it's a lot going on that we'll touch on in a little bit. But we are running our 4-part series, the good, the bad, the ugly, and turning the page, and we are doing it in reverse order. So today we're going to talk about the good of the season, of the 2024 season in our Houston Texans, and bring a little positivity in the atmosphere after us dumping the last 2 weeks on the Houston Texans, dropping the O's and the balls on the Texans' head.
Whoa! Hold up. Pause that? Can we pause?
I said O's and balls. So you can drop your nuts all day long. You can drop your O's all day long, Swan.
No, I don't have any balls to drop.
That's why I said O's. You know what O's is? O's is ovaries.
I know. I
don't know how we get on these conversations all the time. We seem to always.
Hey,
it be it be him.
Yeah, it's all right. It's all right. But yeah, I want to get y'all thoughts so we can talk about it, man. So, the positives, we'll outline them because we all have the same sentiments. The positive is we ran it back, same spot. Divisional playoff round. This time, a very much more competitive game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, tougher schedule for sure.
Tougher schedule, same record, 10-7. We also, talk about the positives of the rookie class and
how they played. Kalen Bullock and Kamari Lassiter specifically.
Oh,
And then we talked about, we all discussed as well about the emergence of Joe Mixon having a rejuvenated, time in Houston, rejuvenated his career. Because he was on the down spurt in Cincinnati, and he came and showed his youthful legs.
Especially when he was dancing.
Huh?
Especially when
Oh
he was
yeah, yeah.
dancing.
I was so nervous he's gonna pop Achilles or something. Doing that.
I don't know what you thought too. He was getting though every time he get it.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
And thankfully he made it to the end zone a lot, so we saw it a lot this season. As well as Nico Collins solidifying himself as one of the top receivers in the league.
Correct.
Just kind of glancing over all the positive topics that we're gonna discuss, but I'll let Auntie Swan go first, and let her elaborate on some of those topics.
So yeah, so as you mentioned, our schedule was a first place schedule. Um, we finished 10-7. I loved it. There were some positives in certain games. I like how we ended the season the last the last game of the season to go into the playoffs, winning that back to back division title. I know folks who say we're sick of just winning division titles, but it's not that simple and easy. I don't care what the division was like. We still handled business and won. And once again, in a playoff home game, we blew out a team that folks thought we were going to lose. We were, you know, dogs in
underdogs.
the house. And then, like you said, talking about our rookies, because going into camp,
Mm-hmm.
weakness that we thought we had, and the fact we made jokes, if we're dependent on rookies to produce in the secondary, we in trouble. Well, they happen to be a strength this year. So uh, those were mine. And
Mm-hmm.
watching them develop over the course of the year, their mindset, truly they have a swarm mentality, especially Kamari, Mr. Crash Out. I love the kid. Uh, but
The Black Air Force Ones. Larry brought up a good point. Undefeated on the road in the AFC South. One in Indy in the Stroud House. One in Jacksonville, as well as we won in
love,
Tennessee.
love you, blue.
Mm-hmm.
They
Before
they might want to retire wearing them things when they play us.
Hmm.
I do want to point to. I do want to say this before we continue. Shout out to friend of the pod, co-host of the Texans on 3, Killer Cal, who did lose his father recently. And I posted a link in the comments. I'm trying to wait for it to pop up, but I'll share it a little bit later for the GoFundMe to help out Killer Cal and his family. So y'all go ahead and support Killer Cal and his family during his time of need in this moment. So prayers up to Killer Cal and his family, and you got your support right here from the H-Town Rundown, brother.
Yep.
Amen to that.
So Mike G, we'll run right into it. Your positives.
Positives. Joe Mixon. I mean, hey, shout out Nick Casario. He's not perfect. I don't know what you're doing right there.
I don't know what the hell you was doing.
Driving a bus right now in that chair.
Trying to Joe Mixon dance.
Okay. All right. Yeah. We picked him up for next to nothing, and Cincinnati is like, "Hey, we're done with you." And, hey, another man's trash, another man's treasure. And while he wasn't on Saquon's level, hey, he had a hell of fight season with the Houston Texans. Turned back the clock, and it looked great. Working, with a little bit of a challenging offensive line, and he made a lot of things happen when nothing was there. And, opening things up for Nico Collins downfield, opening things up for Tank Dell, open for a speedy recovery there. Opening things up for Stephon Diggs and Mechie and Dalton Schultz when he wanted to run routes. And he had a great season. Daniil Hunter, who didn't start off the season red hot, but I don't know whose computer's
I don't know who that
fixing right
is,
now, but
Jules.
Danielle Hunter got going like around mid-season, and you really couldn't stop him. Will Anderson,
Well,
beating those Will Anderson,
okay. I don't know
beating
who
those
I
stunts.
don't know who Will Anderson is, but okay.
Hey, that's the next guy we're drafting. No, Will Anderson beating those stunts. Yeah, you get him unblocked and he's unstoppable. As you recall. And I mean Derek Stingley. Can we take a second to recognize Derek Stingley, who we all knew had that superstar potential? But there were some concerns from some on this pod and some who aren't on this pod about the injuries. And the injuries were kind of prevalent early on in his career, but man, he stayed healthy last year and you couldn't stop him. He was arguably the best corner in the league, playing at all pro level. And if he keeps it up, hey, make him the highest paid corner. I don't care. He deserves it. So I would say Derek Stingley, this young secondary in general, with Kalen Bullock, who, missed some tackles, needs some improvement with the discipline, but he is a ball hawk back there at safety. And obviously Lassiter is a dog from Georgia. So, hey, got to give a shout out to that secondary. Looking very promising. Petrie, too. Petrie missed, a big chunk of the year, but, man, when he was healthy, he's one of the top playmakers out there. So, Jules,
Shout out to Petrie, man.
Yeah.
Getting the forgotten man in the secondary.
Petrie did good. He did good as his linebacker safety combination corner. He was pretty much all three doing all at one point in the season game. So he did come up and show off that he can play in his specialized role.
We missed him in that playoffs.
Yeah,
So he
definitely did.
Especially with Christian Harris being MIA again.
The good fellas.
Yeah, hey,
they never miss on a.
Speaking of that,
linebacker.
See, this is how you make lemonade out of lemons with Christian Harris because Christian Harris was injured. We saw the emergence of my boy Henry. Henry went from Noah to Toa.
Yes,
that's right.
And we got to say it correctly. Toa.
Ain't no we. We were always saying it right.
No, it's Toto.
It's somebody on the show who wasn't saying it.
It's Toa.
Toto.
Put
some respect on the name. As you were saying, Jules.
Well, mine's gonna be mostly on the defense side of the ball. We have 6 new starters starting this season. They all played well. They all got to the system and understood what the coach wanted, and they all kind of performed. Some guys missed time here and there, but when they were on the field, they were forced to be reckoned with. That's 6 new starters that came in on one season and actually performed. We had a couple guys who got not Autry, no, he got suspended, but when he came back, he fit in perfectly in the scheme and went off. The second player I want to point out to Dylan Horton. Came back from his cancer scare. He played a couple games. He looked like the player that we wanted from TCU. No, he was my draft crush. Come out the season. I liked him as a 5th round pick. I liked the way he can play inside and outside. And I thought that was the player that Autry was going to be, and that's what Dylan might be going forward because he can play inside and outside. And I just like our middle linebacker came out of nowhere. We knew he knew the system, but the way he came in and really showed leadership on his first year it was his defense and how he commanded everybody and tried to be there. Of course, we lost him for a couple games because I think it was cheap shots, as they say. But the way he recognized his defense and how you added 6 new players to 5 returning players, and then you have the emergency, as Mike said, of Mr. All Pro Derek Stingley, and then it just came together. I mean, the defense was the powerhouse of this team going forward, and they kept us in a lot of games. Let's not forget about we had 9 sacks or 8 sacks against Tennessee and a pick six. We had 5 interceptions from the number one team of Detroit Lions when we played against them, and we held them down until the end of that defense. So defense kept us in games when there was no offense being scored. In the second half, they were always swarming, as they say. There's always getting points, turnovers. When we needed something, this defense shined. And to say that is to even put more emphasis on the coaching staff of the defense to get 6 new starters to all play as one and swarm as one. So those are my positives about the team. And Nico Collins showing that it wasn't a 1 year fluke. He got paid. He's going to be number one. He is number one, and that's our guy.
Yeah, absolutely. Shout out to the people in the comments. Shout out Twinklebell. I think his first time coming, saying we
Twinkle,
need to draft a
twinkle.
young tight end that's not afraid to be physical with his hands and nose protection.
There's a few of them out there. Yep.
Yes, a few of them. They tight ends ran today too. If I'm not mistaken, I think it was linebacker, tight end, and DB today. That did drills and ran today. So yeah, we definitely gotta look into that as well. But if you want to look at the positive, I'm gonna find a nugget. I'm gonna find a golden nugget in a pile of shit. And that is the offensive line. Going to find a golden nugget that nobody's really talking about. Nobody has really talked about this season, this past season. We've talked about the flaws of the offensive line. We've talked about the deficiencies of the offensive line. We talked about certain players on the offensive line. But one player that gets skipped over a lot and was probably the most consistent player on the offensive line for the whole 2024 season. And that is none other than our boy Titus Howard. Titus Howard deserves his flowers for being consistent, being flexible enough to play well at tackle and at guard, and for him to, kind of solidify a position at left guard that we've been struggling with the whole season, really the last 2 years. And left 3 years if you want to call it that, at left guard. So shout out to Titus Howard as being one of the good of the season. In the shitstorm on the offensive line. You gotta give some kind of flowers on that shitstorm on the offensive line.
Yeah.
As Brittany Grinder said, yes, we need O-line help. We got the team, just need to stay healthy and add 2 quality linemen. If you go back, Brittany, you take a look at our mock draft, we did go ahead and grab 2 quality offensive linemen in our latest mock draft. So go back, check out that video. It's posted as well. So be sure to go check that out. Houston sports fan said Debo getting chunky. We can throw him at our line.
Wow.
We'll touch on that in a minute. That's a bit of Texan news that came out today as well. And I think y'all touched on a lot of those topics. We talked about Joe Mixon. We talked about Nico Collins. And I'm trying to find another positive outlook on the offense. It's hardly any there, but I will. You know what? I'm gonna give Dameon Pierce some flowers as well for his special teams play. Special teams play. Dameon Pierce had quite a few returns.
You know that Browns kickoff was a previous season, right?
Look, I'm talking about this season. I went back and Dameon Pierce, NFL Network highlighted it. About Dameon Pierce on with his kick returns. He had like 3 or 4 big kick returns this year. So, shout out Dameon Pierce for having a great.
Because Steven Sims didn't have that.
Steven Sims in reverse.
I see Doc Payton over there. I just couldn't resist.
I know. Hey, so shout out Eric, Sean. Appreciate you for subscribing. I don't think it happens this year. I think he's talking about Kaimi Fairbairn. I don't think it happens this year. No. But I do potentially see them either looking for kickers in the future going forward. So
Yeah, if he doesn't turn things around this year, yeah.
I don't even if he turns it around this year, I think he's going into after next year. He's going into the last year of his contract extension. I think they may go ahead and draft a kicker, or go ahead and sign the kicker in free agency and move on from him and go that route, the younger route. So we'll see. We'll see.
We'll see.
Titus, Larry Payne said, "Do y'all want Titus to remain in left guard?" I want whoever's gonna play the best to play on the offensive line at this
Yeah,
point.
I will see once free
Eric,
agency happens,
is it
and
Eric Sean? I'm sorry, Jules.
sorry.
Is Eric Sean? Okay, go ahead. What you say?
So we'll see after the draft and free agency who they bring in to know where Tyler Howard's going to be. And as I said earlier, I think Titus Howard's positioning where he's on his roster is going to be the telltale about this team. If Howard is on this team, I think he stays left guard. If he's not, or you move wrong, I think he's going to be off the team if he don't play left guard. Because I think Blake Fisher is time to shine. I think he's trying to get him more reps. So if Howard's on his team, I think it's left guard.
Mm-hmm.
You don't think he can play tight end?
I mean, if he lost a little pound, he could probably he used to have heavy hands to block. I don't know what happened to his heavy hands. You know what I'm saying? He don't block like he used to when he was on the right tackle before he was partnered with his homeboy. The shoe king.
No, I think his best spot is at left guard at this point.
We'll see. We'll see. Either left guard or right guard. I don't know. You know,
I still want A&M at right guard.
you want Kenyon Green.
I want King Green at right guard. I mean, everybody keeps saying the only thing he can do is run block, and that's pretty much the job of right guard is run block.
Mm-hmm. So, hey, no arguments over here. Titus built like a left guard.
He really is. And a couple years ago, we had the argument about him being built the same way as the Colts premier left guard, Quentin Nelson. If you went by their body sizes and their height and everything, he actually projects to be a good left guard. It's just I
put a little less stock into that in this measurables after what we saw from Philly, because Philly took a flyer. Mekhi Becton, who was a bust with the Jets. He's 7'6", slight exaggeration, but freakish size to put it at guard, and it fucking worked wonders. But
this goes to
what
does this show you, Mike? If you are coaching them upright, doesn't matter, because
you also gotta want to. You also gotta want to play.
Yeah, you gotta put them. If you're able to coach them upright, to put them in position to work as a unit, because offensive line is probably the only position group on the whole football team that absolutely has to work as a unit for them to be successful.
Continuity is
key. There's no individual accolades. Well, as far as offensive line, when it comes to offensive line, you can't have one great offensive lineman, and that'll affect the game in a positive way. Whereas, like, if you look at a defensive line, if you have one great defensive tackle or one great defensive edge, they can affect the game in a positive way. Yeah. Whereas on the offensive line, they all have to work as a unit. Which is why it baffles me when people say we got to go get this Pro Bowler, this All Pro, this and that. There's no team in the NFL. Philadelphia just won a Super Bowl. There's no team in the NFL that has all 5 All Pros on the offensive line. A lot of these teams that have these great offensive lines, they may have 1 or 2 name great players on that offensive line, and then you have 2 or 3 guys. You're like, where the hell he come from? Those offensive lines are the best. Like, you can even take it back to the Texans in 2010, 2011, 2012. Nobody knew who the hell Mike Brazil was. Nobody knew where the hell he came from, but he worked with the unit and was great. What was the center
Chris
name?
Myers.
Chris Myers was an afterthought.
Yeah, Eric Winston. I mean, Dwayne Brown was good, but he was the only brand name we had out there.
He was the only name you had. Wade Smith was a reject from Miami who didn't work out in Miami. Chris Myers was a throwaway trade from Denver. We got him for a 7th round pick from Denver. Denver didn't want him anymore. And then you go back, Mike Brazil, like I just said, nobody was even talking about him. And then you go back to Eric Winston was a 2nd round pick, and I think, of course, Dwayne Brown was a 1st round pick. But that offensive line, you had those two on the ends were probably the most notable, name-worthy guys coming into when they put that line together. Then everybody else was like, who gives a fuck about him? So,
and even after him, Derek Newton.
yeah,
like injuries kind of hurt him, but like he was good on the O-line, and he wasn't a star by any means.
Derek Newton probably would have made a Pro Bowl if he didn't tear both his patella tendons at the same time. That's
like
crazy.
Paul was saying though, when Beckham got into the Philadelphia, the whole line cared.
Mm-hmm.
And they put effort into it because you're not going to line because the other guys knew what to do and there were leadership on the O-line.
Right. I was saying because you had Lane Johnson, so they actually have 3 guys that are top. So you got your center, you got your left tackle, and you got your right tackle. Like Lane Johnson, after Kelsey left, you had that leadership. He wasn't going to accept anything less. So you had the right coaching. You had the right coaching, but you also had the right leaders on that line. So when Mekhi Becton got there, he was motivated because you don't want to be that weak link when everybody else, you come into a team that is always considered having the top O-line. So you can't be that weak link. We don't have that accountability. I know we talk about the good. If we go get there, we go get there. But we just got to have guys who are committed to it. Would I like to see Titus stay at left guard? Yes.
You saying all the syllables the only one.
The concern I have is, does he want to play left guard? Because if he mindset, remember his page says he's a right tackle. So if he thinks he's a right tackle, and I'm just filling in, are you honing in on your skill to be the best left tackle? You know what I mean?
So
am I playing a substitute because we need to fill a need, or am I committed? You know what? I can make this work, and I can be the best left guard. Sorry, the best left guard. Versus, I'm just filling in because there's nobody else. I don't want that mindset.
Right. So this is a thing with Titus Howard, because I think a lot of people take that because Titus took his page down. He don't even have a Twitter page anymore, but I don't think he have any social media, to be honest with you. But when he posted that tackle only thing or under his bio, that was when he was in the midst of a contract extension and trying to get paid.
Yeah.
So he wanted to get paid as a tackle and not paid as a guard, which he ended up getting paid as a tackle. Titus Howard has never, because let me be honest with you, if Titus Howard didn't want to move, Titus Howard wouldn't have moved. And I'm telling you this right now. We can say all we want to. I'm telling you this. They not benching Titus Howard.
Oh no.
If Titus Howard, because at the end of the day, they all grown men. They all grown men, and they have the right to speak up for how they play and where they play and everything like that. This is the NFL.
Yeah.
If Titus Howard did not want to move to guard, what are they gonna tell Titus?
You're playing at guard.
That's right.
And then so they gonna take a risk of Titus Howard saying, you know what, y'all got it. I'm gonna sit this out.
Now you lose the game checks.
Right.
You're not taking that.
Yeah, they knew he wasn't gonna take that risk.
Right. The thing is, he doesn't have a reputation of being that kind of
diva
tackle that he could do that. He's not a Trent Williams.
But the point I'm trying to make is that this past year, Titus didn't play bad. at tackle.
Oh, we didn't say he didn't play bad at all.
He didn't play, but he wasn't great.
My thing is
But he wasn't bad.
he can counter that and saying, I'm your best option at right tackle.
And see, and
So
that's the problem I have
You
with.
could say that, but
I think that's the problem I have with our O line
I'm gonna be
that
asshole.
separates to me the teams that actually like the Eagles. The mindset that I can do certain, it comes across, at least to me. I can act this way because you have nobody better. So if any of them have that kind of mindset, that's an issue.
I mean, Ed Reed's 57, but
Mhm.
But anyway, we digress.
We were trying to win, and Ty Howard understood. And I'm always gonna say Ty Howard got paid because he was the best team player for the 3-4 years he was here.
So he
Mhm.
didn't get paid based on specifically what his talent was. It was based on him being a
The great
team player.
team
So
player because
Yeah.
every year, I think he's been here 5 years, 6 years.
something like that. Yeah.
I think he played one position only his whole career. He has moved almost every
He's
year.
moved every year. If he's not injured, and when he's playing, he's never played at the same position the whole time, the whole season.
Right.
It hasn't been a season. It
Right.
hasn't been a season that he's played. This was supposed to be the year that he played the whole season at tackle. This was
Right.
supposed to be the year.
And then
And it
once
wasn't.
again, things happen, and especially in his case, like durability and availability is his best ability, and
Yeah.
he's been solid.
Right.
And you can't say that about some of the other starters on the O line. So
Yes.
he
you
wasn't
know,
good with you. He's missed some time too.
he hasn't been
But not
completely.
the last 2 years, he's pretty much been healthy. The last 2 years, from
Yeah,
He missed the first 4 games.
last year,
No, the year before. Remember, because that's how he wound up with that makeshift O line the rookie year.
yeah,
Remember his wrist, and then the
Yeah,
year before
he broke
then,
his hand. So he broke his hand. That was the year that everybody broke their hand on the offensive line.
yeah.
I don't know what
So
program we
Titus-
were running for the linemen, but that was not working out.
So Titus Howard only missed one game this past year.
Mm-hmm.
He missed damn near the whole season last year. Remember, because he broke his hand, he missed the first 4, then he came back and played, and then he messed up his knee and missed the rest of the season.
yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I knew he wasn't Mr.
So-
Durable.
No, let me
Yeah.
go back because this is
Season
Titus
40?
Howard. Hold on, this is Titus Howard's season. His rookie year, he only played 8 games. COVID year, he played 14. He played and started 14 games.
Okay.
21 played 15 out of 17 games.
Okay.
And then 22, he played all 17 games in 2022. So, and then this year he played 16 games.
In
He only missed one.
2023, he missed in 2023. You said
I know. I
2022.
just said what happened in 2023.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's saying it's been on. I mean, it's here and there.
Yeah,
Hey,
That's what I'm
I'm
saying.
glad we got past the off the field wild criticisms of Titus Howard and got just to the on the field stuff because that was
Hey.
a
Oh.
wild.
So hold on real quick, Barry. What you mean it won't pass? Here's the link here. Were you saying it won't go through? Just comment and let me know what's going on with the link for Killer Cow. Yeah. I don't know who this OJ. I don't know who they do this, but y'all again, y'all see the link down here, y'all. Shout out. Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay, I gotta figure out another way to get it up there. But yeah, y'all go ahead and again, it's shared on the page. I will share it on the H-Town Rundown Twitter page as well. So y'all go ahead and get that link on there as well and help donate to our brother Killer Cow. But yeah, I'll figure out a way to try to get it posted. It is in the comments, so I will try to get it to work. But y'all go ahead and follow the H-Town Rundown, follow myself. I've shared it on my personal Twitter page. As well at BOOLEY60, and then I will share it on the H-Town Rundown as well. So yeah, we definitely need to show support to Killer Cow, who's always been a great support to us at the H-Town Rundown. So And we went down again. I don't know how we keep going down this offensive line road.
Because that's the
I mean,
low hanging fruit.
we
Yeah.
make an
it's
effort.
sacks and
Hey,
against the
we'll
Chiefs.
go as far as what they give us.
As much as Larry Tunsil give us, that's the question. That's the
You know who else was giving something? That boy Steve Smith, man.
Oh,
No.
That boy, you talking about rearranging IUDs.
You know, I never even clicked on that stuff. I was like, I'm gonna steer clear of that right now. So I missed all that.
She didn't steer clear.
anyway,
I know his name was in the
ran
headlines with some woman. That's all I know. So
hey, Steve Smith was out there banging married women.
everybody's
is anyone
favorite tight
shocked by
end.
that?
Everybody's favorite tight end this draft. Harold Freeman Jr. ran a 4.37.
4.73.
Yeah, 4.73.
There you go.
Whoa, that's way different. Whoa.
Yeah.
Say that again.
Yeah, Harold Fanning Jr. ran a 4.73 in the 40.
Still taking.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's not deterring me.
I mean, yeah, it's not exactly.
I'm not looking for a burner. I need
to the podium, but
hey,
yeah.
I mean, he's a
can
day two.
you catch? Can you block? But his upside, to me, is what I like.
And
so,
does he refuse to block?
Right
now, let me say this: if Harold Fanning Jr. ran a 4.93,
oh god,
then I would have concern. But you know,
I'm gonna say it this way: if all the tight ends are gone,
5 second 40, a 5 second 40 for a tight end ain't helping me out at all.
What about 4.8?
Who ran a 4.8?
Gunnar Hill.
He didn't run no 4.8. That boy ran a 4.93.
It's a 4.84.
You know they get to run twice, right?
I'm just saying, 6'6", big boy can block.
Hold up. I'm like this. I know how he played. No, hold up.
Yes.
I know how he played. I know how he played. So block.
He played like a white
red
boy.
Zone.
He played like a tight end that got open because you had them speed demons on the outside running down the field.
Okay, Travis Kelce is not fast.
Gronk I'm sure he ran a 4.93 also.
Let me say this.
He's off my board.
I'm telling you this right now. I don't give a damn. Look, I'm gonna say this. I don't care how fast or slow Travis Kelce is. Gunnar Helm is nowhere near no goddamn Travis Kelce.
And Travis Kelce wasn't Travis Kelce when they first drafted him.
Kaimi can run a 4.93. What are we doing?
I don't care if you're running 4.93.
One,
can you run a route?
Yeah, 300-pound lineman.
Do you got good hands? Do you block? Are you a red target? Can you go down the seams? I'm sorry. If he the last tight end that's available, and you say I got to take him or I keep Dalton Schultz on that goddamn field, I'm taking him.
At pick 243, okay.
But you lost your mind. You lost your mind.
Garrett Patterson can run a 4.93. What are we doing?
Garrett Patterson don't have the hands. Okay, we gonna pretend like we did not get pissed when we saw Dalton Schultz out there half-assed.
Is that what I said, Swan?
Hold on, you know who do got hands that ran a faster 40?
Who's that?
Larry Tunsil.
But Larry Tunsil don't run block.
Facts.
She does Gunnar Helm, dude.
Yes, he does. Go watch the tape.
Shit, I don't know.
No, go watch the tape. But you know what?
Okay. Twinkleberry is adamant on that tight end.
Hey, good time to remind folks, like, share, and subscribe to today's show rundown.
There you go. I do want to take a little dip into the Texan news that came out today regarding Deebo Samuel. If you notice, we talked about Deebo last night on the podcast, on the mock draft podcast, when we were discussing our mock drafting Jalen Royals.
Y'all can either Pillsbury Doughboy in San Fran, or you can let him go to the Redskins.
So it's a weapon. That's exactly what he is.
Yeah. Do it the other way. Do it the other way.
There
you go.
Okay, can y'all guys stop playing with your fingers? Because because I can't tell if you're throwing up gang signs or y'all doing something else. And I'm gonna leave it at that.
So the whole argument yesterday, the discussion was he's an offensive weapon, and that's what
He
sold.
was.
Yeah.
We're saying Debo and Royals.
Not together.
No, Debo. I'm sorry.
Both
Man.
happen to be weapons.
Mm-hmm.
That ain't a weapon we need.
So this is the thing. What's crazy is that last year the same sentiment was, I don't want no goddamn Stephon Diggs. We don't need no Stephon Diggs. And goddamn, and it was a whole bunch of fans saying a whole bunch of negative shit when it was roaming around.
Stephon Diggs was still a route. No, Stephon Diggs was a route runner.
Let me finish my
cook.
soliloquy. It was a lot of fans that were very, very negative on Stephon Diggs. And them same people that was shit talking Stephon Diggs, as soon as that trade was finalized, oh my God, we got Stephon Diggs. Oh shit, we got Stephon Diggs. Y'all ain't fucking with us and all that shit. So let's not prejudge Debo Samuel.
Oh, I'm a prejudge. Yes, I am.
Let's not, let's not shit talk Debo, because if when we trade for Debo and the motherfucker go off,
he ain't going off.
I need all y'all to be quiet.
That dude,
Oh,
he done.
I'll eat crow. You know, I have no problem. I'm sound wrong, but I'm not a Debo. I'm not a Debo fan.
I'm sorry.
I'm not a Debo fan.
When have we seen AD dance?
He's talking about just now.
No. He said, I don't want to see. He said again, I'm trying to see when the first time we saw him dance.
He's just talking about just now.
There you go, Tinkerbell. If you're gonna go get a receiver, get a real
Thank
receiver.
you. Get a real receiver.
Oh, okay. We're gonna name receivers that aren't available.
He is available.
They say he's available.
No, seriously. There's a package out there for him.
The Packers. I don't think you can beat the Packers package though.
No,
I saw a trade was imminent for Stafford this morning, and then this afternoon he gets extended.
Well, no. That was a difference.
It's a package out there right now that came out that said the Green Bay Packers have a trade package in place for DK Metcalf, which includes the number 23 overall pick, which is the Packers' first round pick, as well as either Wicks
or Dobbs
or Romeo Dobbs.
And that came from the Seattle beat writer. That came from their beat writer.
Okay. And that comes.
That's crazy though. That's a good package.
No, but and as far as the Rams,
oh man,
there was they used other teams to set his market, which was smart. They did the same thing like they did like when Lamar, and teams were like, no, we're not gonna help y'all set the market for him. Y'all figure it out.
Barry said I woke up at 4 a.m. and Stafford was becoming a Raider.
Pretty much, yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I mean, that's the headlines I saw too.
So there's also reports saying that he left more money on the table,
right,
with the Jets and the
Raiders and Giants.
Right. He just wanted to make sure they were offering him, he wasn't getting lowballed. And when he realized he could get more, and he was okay taking less.
Right.
I know that
I go to some.
The Rams gave Stafford and his agent permission to shop him and see what he could get.
They weren't trying to trade him; they were trying to get what the value was. So,
I mean, you know his value at this point. You would know his value.
No, I'm saying this: he knew what he wanted, and they knew what they were gonna pay him. He just wanted to make sure. So he met with Brady. All right. This is what we're talking about. Yeah, you met over there with the Giants. This is what they're willing to pay. Oh well, shit. Neither one of these damn teams going anywhere. Let me go and stay where I am.
You know the Giants in shambles right now.
Right. Yeah,
they moving on to Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, Larry said he wanted DK last year. I do agree that he was pounding the table for DK.
DK. The problem with him is he is nothing but Amari Cooper, but faster. Mentally.
Honestly, Coop may be washed, and that hurt.
No, not that. No, I'm talking about the head case thing. That's the frustration that Seattle has with him. He checks in, and checks out of games.
I want to say this. Shout out Tinkerbell. Appreciate you. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button as well.
I gotta get used to this person being Tinkerbell because I want to say Tinkerbell so bad.
Yeah. So
I mean, if your quarterback is Geno Smith, I'll check in and check out.
Nah, not when you got paid because you could have got traded, but you took the money and stayed.
I mean,
so this is the thing. You will risk getting traded to a place where the situation is considerably worse than what you have in LA. Either going to the Raiders or going to the Jets or what was the other team?
Giants.
The Giants
and Pittsburgh.
And those situations are considerably worse than what the Rams are right now. The let's not let us not let
We
Rams
got
have
a
a
ring
good
though.
team. Let us not forget the Rams were less than a quarter away from knocking off the Super Bowl champions.
They were close. They were
They
very
were super close from knocking off the Super Bowl champions in the
on the road.
divisional round
They
on the road in Philly.
They were 32 away from
So,
knocking them off.
Exactly. So they were that team is a Super Bowl caliber team, even though they snuck up on a lot of people. Nobody considered them. But again, if you have the quarterback there and you're able to
you can
run the
draft and
football,
develop late round guys like the Rams do.
Right.
Jared Verse.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm
my
gonna say this again.
Positive.
I love William Anderson Jr.
Positive.
I love him on my team. But my statement and my sentiment before we drafted Will Anderson, saying that there's a Will Anderson in every draft. What happened last year? What did Jerry Verse do?
Did he do all that unblocked though?
Stop it.
Hold up. Hold up. But the difference was Will Anderson didn't have the same team that Jared Verse on that defense had. Because it ain't just Jared Verse on that damn defense.
Look, Aaron
No,
Donald.
hold on.
My boy Aaron Donald, he retired. Right?
No.
Hold on.
No. Name the rest of them. No. What's the rest of those guys on that team?
Because you can't name many of them.
Really?
Let's keep it real. No. Prior to like a year and a half ago, nobody knew.
No, I'm saying for him. No, I am saying who is on that D line right now.
Go ahead.
Braden
no, I'm asking.
Braden Fisk and Jerry.
Okay, right. Braden Fisk, considered very good one. No, what I'm saying is he had other guys on that D line. I'm not saying that he's not. He didn't have the year he had, but you act like it was just him.
Of course,
who did?
Okay, go ask the question, Swan.
Who's the cornerstone when Will came here? Because it wasn't Grenard. Because we knew. I mean, it was like he was nice.
But who's the cornerstone in LA?
But it's not just him on that damn D line.
Swan, but this is the thing. You said it's just not just him, and then when you come back to the Texans, you say who's the cornerstone. But you didn't say there was a cornerstone in LA.
Okay, they are built with young guys. We have we got a bunch of vets on this team along with Will Anderson on that D line.
I mean, Danielle Hunter, but
okay.
So hold on, Will Anderson's rookie year.
They're not our future. Their D line is based on youth and future.
I understand that, but let us not, because I think we're trying to do apples and oranges, and we're getting kind of lost in the sauce because again, before I made my statement, I said I love Will Anderson. I'm glad he's on this team. I was saying my statement about that you can find a Will Anderson type player in every draft. They come out every year. My whole sentiment was that in that time period, I did not want to take Will Anderson in number 2. And the reason why I did not want to take Will Anderson in number 2 is because I wanted a quarterback. Point blank, period. If we already had a quarterback, then give me Will Anderson in number 2. But the fact that we did not have a quarterback, and it was at the time and the moment we were talking about it, seemed like the Texans were prepping and planning to not take a quarterback and pass on a quarterback in number 2 and take Will Anderson was going to drive me insane. So that was my whole sentiment and the whole point. And the whole reason I even made that statement was because I did not want Will Anderson on my team. I didn't want Will Anderson on my team over a quarterback. So yes.
And a trade package.
And a trade package. So again, Will Anderson is a great player. He's a better player than Jared Verse. He definitely is. But at the end of the day, Jared Verse is not that far off from Will Anderson. And again, Will Anderson had plenty of help alongside him. Yes, he didn't have younger players. The argument can be made either way because Will Anderson played with, you can say, more veteran players, a 25-year-old Jonathan Grenard and Sheldon Rankins and Malik Collins, who were the veteran defensive tackles that played alongside him, along with Kurt Heinisch, who was a 23-year-old defensive tackle.
Yeah, you
Then you
didn't
go
make.
in the linebacker room, you had a rookie Henry To'oTo'o. You had
Mhm.
a young Christian Harris, who was 20 at the last year he was 21, 22 years old. You had Derek Stingley, who's on his second year of his contract, or third year, whatever, yeah, second year of his contract. And then you had, you know, who names who at the other positions on the defense. You know, you had Steven Nelson as the other corner. So at the again, you say that Jared Verse played with youth, and you're saying that Will Anderson played with veterans, where there was only like 3 or 4 veterans, stone cold veterans on that defense, period. Defensive line, if you want to say that the 2 defensive tackles compared to the defensive line and the Rams, fine. Either way it goes, Jared Verse did it with a young team. Will Anderson did it with help. Jared Verse did it with help as well. So, regardless of the fact is, they're both great players. And again, we're going to see edges come out in this draft that are going to be guys and you're like, damn, there's another one. These edge rushers, what is it? Pierce ran a freaking 4.47 and can probably and is a great pass rusher and may come out and be one of those guys. We don't know. And it all goes to where they go in the system. But that was my whole point of making this statement, and it rings true, is that you're going to find a top edge guy every single year. The way that it's coming out now and these players are recycling, you're going to get these edges coming out every single year. And these type of guys, you're going to find playmakers at the edge position from years to come. Because Mikael Williams is another one that could do something crazy from Georgia. But that was just go
Yeah,
ahead.
you're not entirely wrong, but you do have to hit it right because there
Yeah.
are going to be guys at that
Plus.
position who have that upside who are not going to hit it all. So
So let me say this, Brandon.
The safety, huh?
I'm not taking another safety high like that.
yeah,
I'm sorry. I'm just not. We have too much,
Nick,
and
Nick,
we got
Nick
too
is
much
sitting
other
down.
holes.
receiver, interior line, D line.
Offensive line, defensive line, safety. Yeah, I would rather go get a veteran safety over a
You got a veteran safety. His name is Jimmy Ward.
See, I guess that's the difference between with Philly. Is like, why not have the best players, at least you strive to, at all of your positions.
So,
you strive
right.
with, now whether that they all hit is one thing, but when you
Hold
look at
up,
what they did,
we're not going to pretend like DB wasn't Philly's top need last year because it was. It clearly was. So like they doubled down with their top 2 picks.
but they have a problem keep. They don't have a problem keep
So
drafting
this is the thing. Philadelphia and Howie Roseman do a great job in accumulating picks.
Right.
So when you have an assortment of picks, you're able to double up or go after. I want the best player available because I got 12 picks in this draft.
Yeah.
So I don't have a problem taking the best player regardless of position outside of quarterback in this draft. I don't mind taking them at whatever pick I'm picking because I got 11 more picks after that.
They have a
Whereas
whole bunch of picks. They just happen to pick the right guys. I mean, they drafted half of the Georgia Bulldogs.
So going into each draft, Philadelphia always has like 9 to 11 picks going into, or 12 picks going into each draft. Do they take those amount of players? Probably not. They move around and they trade up and they trade back. They use those picks and they are able to do different things because they have an assortment of picks going into drafts. I think if you go and look at it right now, I'm pretty sure Philadelphia has more than 6 picks because that's all we have is 6 picks.
I think
For
they have
sure.
like 8 or 9.
Then I
But that's
probably
not.
have
But that's
10
not. But
plus.
that's not 11 or 12.
But they'll probably end up with 10 plus.
That's
Now
the
you can
bottom.
trade. Now you can trade and
But Swan,
create.
that's the bottom of my scale. If I'm not mistaken, I said 9 to 11 to 12 picks going into every year. This is what happens with Philadelphia. They're going to have more than the base amount. The base amount of picks you can have as a team, 7 picks. And that's if you have a full 1 pick each round, you have 7 picks. They always have more than the base amount of picks you can every team should be allotted for.
I know about the picks,
And they do that every year.
but I guess I'm looking at who they're picking, not just because let's face it,
Sure.
there are teams like the damn Jets, Browns, and so forth. Jaguars have had picks throughout the years, and they fuck them off. So to me, it's not just having picks; it is who you're picking. And to me, they tend to pick premium guys, and they don't care if they're taking a guy they already have. They took Jordan Davis.
Take best player.
Okay.
PPA.
They take
But
best,
they're looking
they
at
take
the,
best
they're looking
player
at the
available.
talent. But they're looking at the talent.
I understand it, but I'm saying, like, my point is that I understand your point about the talent, and the reason why they're able to do that is because they have the assortment of picks and the ability to move around up and down the draft board to get the talent because they have that flexibility to do so. And the way that Howie Roseman has maneuvered the cap, maneuvered his picks, moved on from players at the right time, he's done a masterclass of a job building that team and being able to take, finding gems like Nolan Smith, who dropped on the board because of the ACL, and finding him. When did he get drafted? In the 3rd round?
No, he got drafted
in the 2nd round. Was it 2nd round?
No, the 1st round.
Nolan Smith was in the 1st.
Yep.
Yeah.
They tried
so I'm thinking of somebody else that was.
The
The linebacker.
Dean.
I'm thinking about Dean.
The Kobe Dean. But the talent. Okay, but difference is the injury. But for injury, that still that talent was there. You just gotta hope that injury doesn't.
Right, but that's my point is that they're able to say, and that's the credit that I've been giving Nick Caserio, is that he doesn't go into a draft with an absolute need.
Correct.
We can say that we need interior offensive line, that we need D tackle, that we need wide receiver. Nick Caserio in this offseason, in 2 weeks, when free agency starts, he's going to maneuver around free agency to fill those holes wherever we pick at 25, we're not picking for a need. We're going to be picking best player available.
Because last year the need was receiver in the offseason, and he got Diggs.
And you go back and in the draft, did we absolutely need a corner at 42?
Yep.
I mean,
yes, you did.
It was a need, but we didn't have to take him at 42.
Exactly. You didn't have to. So when I say absolute need, that you didn't have any corners on your roster.
Because you signed 2.
No, you didn't.
You signed 2.
Who did you sign?
You signed 3 of them.
No, hold up. I'm sorry. Are we really talking about them 2 dudes, Henderson and
hold on. So what we know now, and what we know then. No. What we know now and what we know then is he signed 2.
But nobody believed in those guys.
You don't pay guys $5 million. You don't believe him to be your number 2.
Okay, but you were you took a risk and you was hoping, but nobody was still believing in those dudes.
But again,
that's revisionist history.
No,
because when folks
what you're saying is revisionist history right now.
No, say CJ Henderson and the boy, the other one,
and folks was like, really?
Were penciled in as your second starter, as your number 2 corner. That's
you had What's number 11 name?
I
Okuda?
just said.
Jeff Okuda
You
I
had
said that.
so you signed Jeff Okuda and
and
CJ
C.J.
Henderson
Henderson
to battle out
for
for
number
your
2.
second corner position.
Correct.
You didn't have to, like, at the end of the day, as much as people want to say I'm giving up on them, those guys still had talent. They kept Jeff Okuda on this roster the whole freaking year. Even before injury, after injury, they kept Okuda. Because they believed in Okuda enough to keep him on this roster. When they got rid of CJ Henderson, they got rid of him,
They did.
which they could have got rid of Okuda too, because Okuda didn't play but fucking 4 games this year.
Right. They
So they could have
fished him every time he played.
right. So they could have gotten rid of Okuda too, but they believed in the talent and they believed in them in some form that they can be a contributing factor to this team. So again, signing those 2 guys in the offseason and free agency did not you still you I want to try to find the right word. You calm down. You calm down the saying I absolutely need a corner. You don't absolutely need a corner when you go and spend damn near $10 million on 2 corners to play for your second corner. You don't go into that's what I mean when I say absolutely. Is it a need? Yes. But are you drafting for a need? No. You're drafting best player available. And at that point in time, Kamari Lassiter was the best player available, and he showed it this year.
Mm-hmm. And that's part of the reason you do that in free agency is you pick up guys like Okuda, you pick up guys like Henderson so that you don't feel like you have to take a player at pick X, at pick 42. And a lot of teams do that. So
right. And that's the point that I'm trying to make when it comes to Nick Casario. I'm trying to give him his props, is that he does things in the offseason where you don't go into any draft. The only draft that he went into where you had an absolute need and he took the absolute need was fucking CJ fucking Stroud. That was it. You didn't absolutely need Will Anderson. Was it a luxury? Hell yeah, it was a luxury. But did you absolutely need Will Anderson?
Hell, there was a run on cornerbacks. When Kamara got drafted, it was a run corners. Four went back to back to back to back.
Funny.
I think he's saying he earned the benefit of the doubt.
Okay.
Yeah, he earned the benefit of the doubt. And I agree. That's what I'm saying. So, like, you know, it's just the point. It's just the point. I think Big B put it up as well. Nobody believed in Tim Settle or Mario Edwards.
Thought they did. But yeah.
They would throw away picks. We still needed a D tackle. We still needed to draft a D tackle.
Yeah.
Did we draft a D tackle?
Hey, yeah, I mean,
you know,
we're all in favor of Keanu Benton, but
Twinkle say Nick Casario, OG for that. Larry Payne, Nate there. I think they're agreeing with Barrett. D'Amico don't need high picks. Get the offense right. Exactly. And you know, that's the thing. You just gotta do things the right way at the end of the day. And I think Nick Casario, we'll see in a few weeks what we do to address the need at wide receiver, to address the need at defensive tackle. Do we re-sign Foley Fatukowski?
I think that's a must.
Yeah. So, you know, if you re-sign Foley Fatukowski, you still got Tim Settle there. Do we? I know you want to
drop, and then you don't have to drop. To me, then I would feel comfortable. I don't have to draft high for a D tackle with those 2 guys.
Whereas, I'm still open to doing so, but yeah, we don't have to.
Whereas to me, there was not the confidence. I know we're doing a little bit of revisionist history, but that was not the sentiment last year in free agency when we got Okuda and CJ Henderson.
I got 100% disagree with you. I think it was the conversation that they were going to battle out for number 2.
Yeah,
and the other one was going to be depth player.
I think it was accepted among the fan base that was the plan and that was going to happen. Yeah. I think when you go and you listen to the teams that they came from, then you're going to get those sentiments. Oh man, they would ass, they would trash this.
Not about us.
But I'm saying that those
the fans didn't buy it.
Hold on. But that's my point, is that the preconceived ideas of those players and the situations came from outsourcing from reporters and this and that of what other people thought about those players. But when you think about it and holistically and logically of why you brought them in, you're bringing them in to compete for a position on your team, which was a hole, which
Yep.
because Steven Nelson left or retired, you didn't have another cornerback. So you brought in two 23, 24-year-old young ass corners. I think Okuda's 23, 24.
Henderson is not, but
But
and
Henderson
I
is what,
said Henderson.
25?
Oh hell no, from the
Henderson is what,
get-go, but
25, 26?
at least, yeah.
So
Henderson,
but again, you
but
brought
yeah,
in two corners under 30
yeah,
to
two
come
younger
in.
guys, yeah.
And again, so Okuda was considered a better signing than Edwards and Settle at the time.
Correct.
He had more upside.
Upside.
Yeah, I would
Yeah,
say.
and that's the point is that you bring those guys in. Press
And
yeah.
you
I
don't have,
was Press. I
you,
was
and you don't feel like you have to draft for position. Now
Right.
we all admit that Lasser outplayed everybody, all three of them. Even before they got hurt, one got hurt during the training camp, and it was okay. Well, now you got to about a one person, and he blew him out the water.
Mm-hmm.
Like I remember, I was pretty high on Lassiter, and I remember saying throughout the summer months, "Hey, I think he could be a week one starter and do really well." I didn't know he'd do that damn well.
So let's be real, because this is recorded and we can go back in the archives because we did a live. We did a live draft.
At that time, you're right. Yeah, we were.
Everybody was saying who and who, what,
yeah,
and when, and why.
What? He's an inside guy. He gonna play.
We had all of this conversation about Kamari Lassiter. It was very, very giving much confusion, especially when the next pick was goddamn Blake Fisher.
Yeah, that one really.
That's the one that made the head scratch you. Like, what the hell?
Again, did we need a tackle?
I like the pick though.
Actually, yes, and I can see
how with it now. At the time,
no. When I say that,
Star,
I get what they were thinking was we can't keep our right tackle or our left tackle healthy. So I'm thinking, considering them looked at it, one of them go down.
Yeah, I agree. Go ahead.
But at the time when they was picking at that position, what we consider a tackle or we consider a DT.
No, I thought it should have been a DT. But the point was they knew their team better than we knew it.
Right. So that goes back to the point of my whole sentiment about, and this I'm still, I'm glad what's his Mike RG Mike is not in the listeners, because he would be throwing up right now for me continually trying to give Nick Caserio some praise.
Oh yeah.
But again, Big B has said it again, like we gotta trust D'Amico. When it comes to the defensive side of the football,
I trust
which
him.
is you trust D'Amico at all points, because I don't think D'Amico has made any flaws as far as building up that defense and putting the right pieces in place. He got, once again, he got Sheldon Rankins paid. He got Jonathan Bernard paid.
He got Cashman paid.
He got Cashman paid.
Cashman paid.
So
what was the stats on Spin Doctor when he went to 49ers?
I think he got hurt and barely played with the 49ers.
It's somebody else that got paid.
I'm trying
because I thought it was three of them that was on the Vikings.
No, it was just two. It was just him and Cashman that went. Oh, and you got the corner that went to the Vikings for a little bit.
Yeah,
but he didn't play the whole season with us. Griffin.
Yeah, Shaq Griffin.
So,
and I mean,
talking about Blake,
I still think we should have taken Keanu, but I do trust D'Amico.
So this is the thing.
To me, he knows how to motivate. He knows how to evaluate guys and get the best out of them and get them to buy in. So yes, I trust that side more. That if you go get a guy that you feel like, probably go get something out of him. If you can't, then you just, you know what, you just ask because you got an opportunity.
But I look at D'Amico, like I said, he's turned rags to riches with defensive linemen. and them being successful because everybody was like, I don't know about Foley Fadakowski. He wasn't doing too much with Jacksonville. Jacksonville fans just gave up on him. They said he ain't it, and this and that. Now Foley, when he was in the game, was our best defensive tackle.
Yeah, he was a difference maker.
When we lost him, we noticed the difference in the run game.
Right,
Foley ran all over us.
Tim Settle was an afterthought.
Mm-hmm.
Some people forgot Tim Settle was on the goddamn team.
Honestly, if not for a certain host on this show, I probably wouldn't even notice we signed him.
Man, you know what?
But hey, he made some plays.
Tried to tell you. But yeah, again, like he said, Miko knows how to put guys in a position to succeed. He has a vision for every player he gets. I agree. Totally changed his defense to maximize Bullock. Again, Miko, when it comes to the defensive side of the ball, and again, we drafted D tackle, we drafted defense, we drafted the edge, and we drafted D tackle. In that mock draft last night. So
right.
I want Harmon.
Mm-hmm.
I'm being selfish. I want a young. I want a younger defensive tackle. But we've seen time and time again, D'Amico can go and pull a Khalil Davis out his ass and make him a player.
Mm-hmm.
He can go and pull. Hell, even Kurt Heinrich played well last year.
The boy from
not 2024. I'm talking about 2023. D'Amico first year.
Tommy Tiggerhole.
Yeah, Tom guy.
Yeah,
Tom guy. Practice squad.
Yeah, all of a sudden making plays every game.
So D'Amico knows how to make some.
I know he does. Can we get a bona fide star though?
See, that's what I'm saying is.
But do you need? That's the whole thing.
Okay, okay. Do we want to just win our division and win the wild card weekend, or do we want to win a Super Bowl? Because to win a Super Bowl, you're going to need those kind of guys. Because you saw what Philadelphia did to the Chiefs. So the Chiefs look like.
I'm gonna say this: a healthy Foley Fadakowski, and I would say a juiced up Mario Edwards. A juiced up Mario Edwards that played well before he got suspended.
Mm-hmm.
That, and I'm going to say it right now, even without those guys, the defense that we had was a Super Bowl caliber defense. Was it Philadelphia's defense? Slightly less than no, as far as defensive line and pressure-wise. But overall, our defense was a Super Bowl caliber defense. And I don't know about y'all.
I think it was close to. I don't think it's that level.
No. Okay.
Let's say this. If Foley Fadakowski is healthy,
we beat the Chiefs.
And Petry's healthy.
And Petry's healthy. And I'm saying if we didn't have the injuries and everybody's healthy on their defense, that's a Super Bowl caliber defense.
Right. But are we beating that Eagles team in a Super Bowl? See, that's the difference.
But I'm saying, I'm not saying are we beating the Eagles team? I'm saying, are we beating
the Chiefs?
Oh, we beat the Chiefs. No, hold up. Excuse me. If I had, but anyway, it just hurts when I think about it. If I had Tank, I'm beating the motherfuckers because all I needed was one wide receiver. One.
Yeah, if we didn't have Jared Wayne. Yeah.
And why is that, Swan? Why is if you had one wide receiver? Because the defense did what?
Roll the coverage over to one guy.
The defense put you in the game that all you needed to do was put up a few points.
Right. That's what I'm saying is I'm not saying about beating the Chiefs. I know if we had one more wide receiver, had Diggs, it would have made a difference. Yeah, I'm saying this
what you saying, Jules?
I still think you need one more dominant D tackle.
No, I'm saying in the playoff game. If you
I think you need one more dominant D tackle because you have to when you beat Pat Mahomes, you beat him with 4. You bring only 4.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you still got to bring other blitzes. You open up your lanes and passing lanes for quick passes and to get in the open holes to Kelsey. The two Super Bowls he lost were to 2 teams that only brought 4 the whole game.
Yep, Bucks and Eagles. And they confused. And his thing is, and both of them were blowouts because he had no. He looked like he was a rookie and had never seen a defense before. They had him from the moment he touched that ball, and you thought the great Andy Reid was going to adjust, and they thought they could, but they couldn't. They stayed on him, and that's what I'm saying. Is when I look at guys in building, I want a defense that can do what they did because I'm assuming I'm playing the best guy or the best team, the best quarterback in that conference in a Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
So I need to know, am I going to force my offense has got to put up points? Now, Philadelphia put up points because they was giving up the ball. So they gave them short fields between Mahomes
and again, that was the point of when I say this is a Super Bowl caliber defense, and I disagree with Jules on it, is because this defense was very opportunistic and they turned the teams over.
But the same time.
Only I'm gonna tell you this: in the Super Bowl, Kansas City never got past the 40 yard into the 30 yard
because they turned it over damn near 4 times.
No.
Even when they had the ball,
3 and out. They
had the ball.
It was
Kansas
not.
City offense did not pass the 50-yard line until the third quarter.
I mean, that would have happened with us too. It would have happened with us too for a half.
We still have to bring blitzes. We still have to.
Hold on, it would have happened with us if we didn't have them phantom. Think about the first half. If Kansas, hold on, if Kansas City doesn't get those calls, because if you want to say they didn't get cross 50, they got across 50 with the
only one. Who got cross? No, I'm sorry. Our defense did not look like what the Eagles was doing. I'm sorry.
Let's be honest with it. Let's we know it's phantom. We know the phantom calls. We know this. We know that. Bottom line is to go to Super Bowl in the AFC, you have to beat Pat Mahomes. That is finite, correct?
Correct.
And to beat Pat Mahomes, you have to bring 4, maybe 5
damn game.
You cannot consistently bring blitz practice because he has receivers and a tight end that's still good that can beat blitzes and open spots and dropping zones and dropping holes, and they consistently go in and get first down. And hell, Pat Mahomes could run.
No, thank you. They kept him in there. Hold up. Travis Kelce was thinking about retiring after what the Eagles did.
Right. But let's move on to the next conversation. I mean, I think we run long on this conversation. Yeah, we worried about what's going to happen next because we want to be at that next table. And that's one saying, and I'm agreeing with her. Give me the best 53 you can put on the team,
right? But
and let's go for it.
This is a comment. He said our defense also didn't have an offense putting up points. Kansas City was forced into passing, which
they couldn't run the ball either, though.
They couldn't. But that's what I'm saying. But that's the point: is that when you get a big enough lead on Kansas City and you're forcing them to pass, then you can drop back.
Mm-hmm.
You can drop back and just rush forward.
But they started off rushing 4.
I understand that, but they got in the early hole too because Kansas City turned the ball over quick.
Right, but we didn't.
City offense. You still you thought they were gonna come back, but that bringing that 4.
It was 34 to nothing at halftime
because they never left on their pass rush. You can make an argument. We can be Texas fans. The bottom line is the only way to beat Pat Mahomes and Kansas City offense is to bring 4
and to not be playing an Arrowhead, but.
I don't think it would have mattered if the Eagles had been playing the Arrowhead.
Look, Philly would have won that game, but it would have been closer.
No, it wouldn't
have. Maybe so. But we know the known fact to beat him is bringing 4.
That's right.
Because the Bucks have shown it. So I mean, 2 teams have done it. So that's the formula. Now you just got to have the personnel to pull it off.
Because he ain't lost. I don't think he lost a championship game. It's championship game since when?
No, he has never since the first one against Brady. That's the first time he lost. I mean, he went to a championship game. He's only been to championship games. He lost it to Brady and the Patriots, and then after that, it's Burrow and them got him.
Yeah, because if you don't bring pressure, consistent pressure, bring the 4, and you don't drop back your corners and your nickelbacks and your linebackers, you can't leave it up to Pat Mahomes not to beat you. You have to bring them forward to make sure he's not comfortable.
Yeah, I agree. But
Yep.
again, man, we got to turn the page.
Yeah,
need
we
to
go to the
turn
page.
the page
And that's, I guess, this conversation helped us turn the page to the
next year.
combine and the free agency coming up in about 2 weeks.
Yeah. So next week is I think was it next week is the end of combine.
Yeah.
Combine
Yes.
this
We'll be
weekend.
wrapping
No,
up
Sunday.
combine
Actually,
this weekend.
Sunday.
Sunday,
O
but
lineman.
I'm saying our next episode we'll be talking about the full combine, where everything is. We'll do a mock draft. We'll turn the page. We'll do a mock draft, a live mock draft next Wednesday as well.
Looking forward to free agency too.
Yeah, we'll look at free agency and we'll see, because at that point in time you have those people starting the conversation starting to leak out and everything like that. And then the following week we'll go live on free agency tampering period day.
Yeah. Free agency frenzy.
Yeah, so we'll get started on that. So yeah, we got an action packed next 2 weeks, man, and it's gonna be very, very, controversial.
Right.
It's gonna be what's the other word? It's going to be it gets the people talking. What's the word? It's very no, what's the not controversial.
Oh, you talking about the
It gets the people talking.
talking
Yeah.
provocative.
It's very provocative next 2 weeks. Houston, I pray I don't wake up to a Debo trade to Houston. Well, it all depends on who you praying to, brother.
I just don't see it unless I just don't see it unless they eating up most of that salary.
And again,
because we don't have the picks to trade for him.
Oh, maybe
we don't have the money.
Maybe they'll take 2026 picks.
So let me say this again.
So that's the reason why I don't.
It's a lot of different ways.
It's
a lot of different ways that you can make that trade. And again, I said this last night, and I've said it before. If a team wants it to happen, there is a can't.
Okay, let me rephrase it again. It's not that it can't happen. If we don't have any picks, we don't have picks to give away because we only got 6 of them. We don't have the monies to take on his salary when you have other needs. So that's why I say I don't see it happening. I think it's his camp that is trying to create the same way that with Stafford. I'm not saying that D'Amico wouldn't want him per se, but I don't think we would make that trade.
So again, when it comes to the cap and the number of monies we have, because we need to go ahead and close out the episode. When it comes to that, when I say there's a will, there's a way. You always can maneuver monies around to make it work, to make it available for you to bring in a Debo and still go in free agency. Nick Caserio literally was at the podium. Was it with Big Sarge? The other day that he asked him about the cap money. Nick Caserio had the aura of, I'm not concerned about that bullshit because I know we got the money and I know where we're gonna get the money from. So it's like
free agents. Come on now.
But again, you're not bringing all 25 back. And they've had that many every offseason.
Yeah,
they've had 20 plus every offseason since Nick Caserio has been there. Why? Because Nick Caserio signs them to what, Mike?
The Nick Caserio special.
There you go. So if we have 20 plus free agents every year. So again, Nick Caserio goes into with the aura of, I'm not concerned about this because I know how we can create the money.
I mean, hell, the Chiefs didn't have the money to re-sign Trey Smith, but you know what? They're gonna make it work.
Nick Bosa gonna be free.
Look at the Saints. My God, they're $100 million in a hole every year, and they make it work.
But they have the players. They can move money around that are long-term players. We don't do those kind of contracts. The way that Mahomes' contract is structured, they can do that. They can do that with Chris Jones. They can play around with Kelsey. We don't have those contracts to play around with that we're going to keep because, like you said, Nick does 2-year deals.
Mm-hmm. Is that
So
what
that
the Saints do with Derek Carr?
with who?
Derek Carr?
The Saints are ass. I'm talking about a team that's a contender.
But it goes to the point of like you can find ways to. The point that Mike was trying to make is that you can always, regardless if the team is good or not, if you're in a cap strap situation, you have teams structure contracts and do things of that nature to make it where they can maneuver the money around. Dalton Schultz is probably the outlier contract that you can say, damn, I can't really do much with. But other than that, you can make moves with as much as people say they, because you have a group of fans that hate Titus Howard's guts. You can make move with Titus Howard. Everybody love Laramie Tunsil, but now all of a sudden everybody's saying, oh, we don't need to extend him, we don't need to keep giving him, we don't need to keep pushing the. For the people that have been saying we can trade Laramie Tunsil for the longest, I'm part of that group. But then you have another group of fan base saying we can't get rid of Tunsil. But then when you bring up the point of extending them, now it's a problem. Now it's an issue. No, if you can extend Tunsil and create $20 million, then you fucking do it. If that's the case, like all of these things, like there's avenues and ways, and the way that they structured these extensions. Nico Collins is another opportunity. The Neil Hunter is another opportunity. The Nico Archery is another opportunity. Aziz Al-Shair is another
I think I
opportunity.
sent that to you when I was saying
Yeah,
those are guys
I
I
know.
had listed as restructuring
Yeah,
to create money. But I'm saying
yeah.
is,
And this is why you come back next week to talk about
yes,
turn the page on how we create money to
money.
have these free agents to go into the season to improve this team to be the last two, the last one, the final four to get past the Texans curse of not getting past the division round or being Saturday at 3:30. This is the competition you're gonna get back next week when we try to figure out how to make money to spend money.
There you go.
That's right.
Again, this has been a great episode of the H-Town Rundown. Shout out to everybody in the comments. Twinkle Bell specifically for her coming in. Shout out Big B, Houston sports fan, as well as Barrett, Larry Payton, Damian Steels, Brandon. I'm trying to make sure I catch everybody. I'm not gonna. Some of these are trolls. Buddy Love. Um, Brittany Grinder, Daniel Berry Sports. Shout out everybody in the comments that's
Is
been
that
commenting.
is that
Huh.
Harlamisha Davis?
Yeah, I'm not
Ruben
saying those names. Ruben is, somewhat getting wasted. And not by alcohol. Yeah, white, you're right, white boy. Wasted. But yeah, shout out Cash as well. Number 1 and number 2 seed only. But yeah, for sure, man. Again, shout out to Jules, shout out to Mike G, shout out to Auntie Swan. This has been another great episode, and we will see y'all next week as we turn the page and we go into a deep dive of capology.
Yeah, you
Yes.
go.
And we will see y'all. We will see y'all when we see y'all, man. Peace.
Swarm.